Hello, dear historians and sleepyheads. Settle in, get comfortable, and let your mind drift back in time to a chilly April night in 1912. Close your eyes and imagine the gentle rhythmic motion of a ship at sea. This isn't just any ship, though. This is the Titanic. But tonight, we're not just watching the story unfold, we're living it. Imagine you've slipped into a kind of waking dream, a quiet slumber that transports you not to the deck of a great ship, but into a luxurious, unfamiliar stateroom. This is where our story begins. Part 1. The Awakening. The first thing you feel is a gentle rocking motion, a soft cradle that lulls you deeper into sleep. It's a peaceful, almost imperceptible sway that's more like a memory than a physical sensation. Then, a new sensation enters your consciousness. It's the deep, sonorous hum of an engine, a vibration that you feel in your bones, a constant low thrum that seems to come from the very heart of the world. It's the sound of 1,000 pistons working in unison, a mechanical heartbeat that fills the stillness. Slowly, your eyelids flutter open. The darkness is not a deep, inky black, but a soft, shadowy gloom. Moonlight, a ghostly white, filters through a small porthole, casting a long, silvery stripe across the floor. You're lying in a bed. No, not a bed. It's a Titanic, narrow and encased in rich dark wood. The sheets are made of a fine, crisp linen, and the blankets are thick wool, warm against your skin. You shift, and the starched fabric makes a soft rustle. The pillow is plump and smells faintly of lavender. You blink again, and as your eyes adjust, the room comes into focus. It's a stateroom, but not one you've ever seen. The walls are a deep mahogany, polished to a high sheen, and they seem to glow in the dim light. Heavy velvet curtains, a deep blood red, are drawn across a window, and the fabric is so plush and thick you can almost feel its weight. A small brass lamp sits on a nearby desk, its wick unlit. On a small table, a gleaming porcelain pitcher and basin sit, ready for use. Every detail, from the intricate carving on the furniture to the polished brass fixtures, whispers of a forgotten era. It's a world built for another time, another person. A world where convenience and beauty were not a luxury, but a standard. A sense of profound dislocation washes over you. There's no memory of getting here, no recollection of a journey, no reason for this opulent but alien setting. Your last memory is a vague, fragmented dream, a fleeting image of a vast white wall and a sound like breaking glass. But it's already fading, leaving only a residue of confusion. This new reality, the creaking of wood and the deep thrumming of the engines, feels more real than any memory you have. It's not frightening, not yet. It's just wrong, like you've slipped into the wrong life, the wrong timeline. You swing your legs out of the bunk and your feet sink into a thick woolen carpet. You stand, and your clothes, a strange, heavy woolen suit you don't recognize, feel foreign against your skin. The fabric is rough, the cut unfamiliar. You move to the porthole and gently push aside the heavy curtains. The view is a revelation. The moon is a brilliant orb in the inky sky, and its light illuminates a vast, placid ocean. The sea is so calm it looks like a sheet of black glass, a perfect, unblemished surface that reflects the pale light of the moon. There are no stars, only a deep, unending void above. The only signs of life are the gentle whitecaps far in the distance and the ghostly white of the ship's own wake. The air from the porthole is crisp and clean and carries the faint, salty scent of the sea. You can hear them now, too, the sounds of the ship. The steady, deep vibration of the engines is the most constant, a kind of internal hum that keeps the whole world in motion. But there are other sounds, smaller, more human. The distant, muffled conversations from the hallway, just a low murmur of voices. The soft creaking of the ship's timbers as it moves through the water, A quiet groan and sigh that sounds like a living thing, a giant beast gliding silently through the night. It is a quiet symphony of luxury and power, a peaceful lullaby that tells you nothing of the disaster to come. The tranquility is almost deafening. This is the Yerma's Titanic, you realize. The name feels right, a piece of information you didn't know you knew. It's not just a ship, it's a living legend. You are on board the most magnificent vessel ever built, and you woke up here, in a stranger's clothes, in a stranger's room on an unknown night. The feeling is surreal, dreamlike. You are a ghost, a silent observer in a world that is not your own. A strange, nervous energy begins to stir within you, a tiny, fluttering thing in your stomach. It is a desire to know, to understand. You must see more. You must know what is happening, where you are and why. You can't just stay in this opulent prison. The need to explore, to walk the decks of this legendary ship is a primal urge, one you can't ignore. You take a final look around the stateroom, the beautiful, quiet sanctuary, and then you open the door. Part 2. Exploration and unease. The hallway is long and narrow, with a plush carpet muffling your footsteps. The brass fixtures gleam, and ornate carvings decorate the dark wood paneling. The air is warm and smells faintly of polished wood and fresh linen. There are no people here, only a hushed silence punctuated by the distant sounds of the ship. You make your way toward the center of the ship, a kind of gravitational pull drawing you in. And there it is, the grand staircase. It is even more breathtaking than the pictures you've seen. The magnificent oak paneling, the gleaming bronze cherubs holding electric light fixtures, the domed glass ceiling above, a ghostly circle of light. It's not a staircase, it's a work of art, a symbol of human ambition and opulence. But it is empty. The silence of the grand space is unsettling. A place meant for life and laughter, for the rustle of evening gowns and the clinking of champagne glasses, is now a silent, ghostly tableau. You can almost hear the echoes of conversations that haven't happened yet, the sound of a grand party that's waiting to begin. You move to the A-deck promenade, a vast open space that runs along the side of the ship. The air here is colder, a sharp contrast to the warm, enclosed air of the interior. The smell of the salty sea is a clean, biting scent that clears your head. The calm of the ocean is absolute. There is no wind, no chop, just a long, unending black expanse of water that seems to go on forever. Above, the sky is a starless, inky void. It is a stillness that feels both beautiful and deeply unnatural. A kind of perfect, unsettling calm that feels like a prelude to something terrible. As you walk, you start to see them, the other passengers living the quiet moments before the world shatters. You see a man in a formal suit, a late-night gambler, sitting alone on a wooden deck chair, staring out at the dark sea. He doesn't look at you as you pass, his face a mask of solemn concentration. He's not counting cards. He's just watching the dark water, his hands clasped tightly in his lap. You pass a couple walking arm in arm, their footsteps silent on the deck. Their conversation is a hushed murmur, their bodies close against the cold. They are just a few people in the middle of the night on a quiet walk, unaware that their lives are about to change forever. Their mundanity is the most jarring thing of all. They are just living, breathing, and existing in a moment that is about to become a historical footnote. You find yourself at the Veranda Cafe, a beautiful sunlit room that is now bathed in the cold light of the moon. A lone officer, his face drawn and weary, sits at a small table, a cup of tea growing cold in his hand. He looks up as you pass, and his eyes, dark and tired, hold a kind of anxious energy you can't place. You give a nod, and he returns it, but his gaze lingers on you for a moment too long. It is a brief, unremarkable exchange, but it leaves you with a lingering feeling of unease. Something is wrong, you think. The air is too still. The silence is too perfect. You notice the chill. The air, even though it's spring, is sharp and biting. It gets colder the longer you stay on the deck, a strange, almost unnatural chill that seems to come from the water itself. The ocean is too still. The stars are gone. You start to put these things together in your head: the tired officer, the strange stillness, the bitter cold, the absence of stars. Each one is a small, insignificant detail, but when you put them all together, they start to paint a picture. A quiet, unsettling picture. A picture of a ship moving through a world that is holding its breath. A sudden sound draws you to a lower deck. You hear the sharp, clipped tones of men's voices, and you move to the railing to peer down. You see it. You see a glimpse of the Kedgebridge. It's a hive of quiet, desperate activity. Officers, their faces grim and pale in the harsh electric light, are huddled around charts, their fingers tracing lines, their heads bowed. One man, a tall, imposing figure with a full beard, is speaking in a low, intense tone, and the others are listening, their faces a mixture of fear and determination. You can't hear what they're saying, but you don't need to. The body language tells the story. Something has happened. Something is very, very wrong. You feel a cold dread creep into your heart, a heavy stone of premonition. You don't know it, but this is the moment the lookouts in the crow's nest have just spotted a distant dark shape in the frigid sea. This is when the message, "Iceberg right ahead," has been delivered. This is the moment the world has just changed, but no one knows it yet. Part 3, the unraveling. You walk away from the railing, the chill in the air feeling more pronounced now. The low thrum of the engines, that constant reassuring vibration, suddenly feels like a lifeline. You want to go back to your room, to a place of quiet familiarity. You turn down a corridor and feel a new sensation. It's a subtle jolt, not a crash, not a shudder, but a gentle tremor that feels like a small tremor on a long journey. The ship shudders ever so slightly, a single sharp motion that lasts for only a second. You hear a sound like a low grinding rasp, a strange metallic noise that is immediately swallowed by the hum of the engines. Most people wouldn't even have noticed it. A handful of glasses might have rattled in a few cupboards. A light fixture might have swayed, but you feel it deep in your gut. It's the sensation of something having been broken. You stop walking and just stand there, listening, and then you realize the sound is gone. The engines, they have stopped. The deep, continuous thrum that has been the constant companion of your time on the ship has ceased. The vibration is gone. The ship is silent. It is a different kind of quiet now, a dead, unnerving silence that feels wrong, a sudden heavy vacuum where sound used to be. The absence of the engine noise is more jarring than any crash could have been. It is the sound of an unnatural stillness, a silence that screams. A steward, his face a mask of practiced calm, walks past you, a tray of empty teacups in his hands. You try to ask him what happened, but before you can, he's gone, his movements quick and purposeful. You notice a few people, just a handful, have emerged from their rooms, their faces a mixture of curiosity and concern. You can hear their whispers, a kind of nervous energy that starts to spread like a tiny fire. "Just a minor scrape," you hear a man say to his wife. "They've shut down the engines for a bit of maintenance, nothing to worry about." The man's voice is a little too loud, a little too certain, but his wife's face tells a different story. "Is that what the officer said?" she asks, her voice small. "That's what they're all saying," he replies, but his eyes are darting toward a crew member who is now running down the hallway, his face grim. The crew member is clutching a small black book in his hand, and he is not looking at anyone. He is just running. The rumors are spreading like a disease. "Just a small iceberg," a man says to a group of people gathered in the grand hall. "Nothing more than a fender bender." But then you see it. You see a steward, his face pale and serious, carrying 2 life jackets in his hands. He's not running, but he's walking with a determined, urgent stride, and he's heading toward the lower decks. A woman, her face a mask of anxiety, asks him, "Excuse me, sir, are the lifeboats being prepared?" The steward gives her a reassuring smile, but his eyes are grim. "Just a precaution, ma'am. There's no need for alarm." He moves past her, his stride quickening, the life jackets in his hands a stark and terrifying contradiction to his words. The small, isolated incidents start to coalesce into a terrifying picture. A woman asking about lifeboats, a crew member running, a steward carrying life jackets, the forced calm of the officers, the unnatural stillness of the sea, the sudden silent death of the engines. Each one is a tiny clue, and your mind, now on high alert, starts to connect the dots. The pieces of the puzzle are fitting together, and you don't like the picture they are forming. You make your way to a lower deck, a growing sense of dread propelling you forward. You pass an open door to a luggage hold. A crew member is there, staring, his face a perfect picture of silent horror. He's looking at a small, dark rivulet of water, a thin line of black liquid that is seeping into the cargo area. It's not a lot, just a trickle, but it is there, and it is growing. The water isn't seeping in, it's pouring in. You hear him then, his voice a low, strangled whisper. "The forward compartments," he says to no one in particular. "They're flooding, the mail room, the squash court. It's already reaching the boilers." His words are a death sentence, and then you hear it. From somewhere below, a quiet, dripping sound. It is a slow, methodical sound, a kind of torture. Drip, drip, drip. The sound of the ocean, a world that should be outside, is now inside. It's the sound of a world that is slowly, quietly, being devoured. This is the tipping point. The man's words, the sight of the water, the terrifying, unhurried drip. It's not a minor scrape, it's not a minor incident. The ship is sinking, the unsinkable is sinking, and you are on board. Part 4. The inevitable. The quiet panic is a thing of the past. The whispers have become shouts. The polite questions have become desperate pleas. A new sound has joined the symphony of fear, the creak and groan of steel plates twisting under unimaginable stress. The choice is now simple and terrifying. Do you stay and wait for instructions? Or do you try to find your own way to a lifeboat? The first lifeboats have been lowered. They are not full. They are mostly empty, and the officers are screaming at the women and children to get in. But no one believes it yet. They think it's a drill. They think it's a joke. They don't know the truth. But you do. And now, you must run. The chaos has begun. The grand staircase, once a place of silent beauty, is now a scene of frantic, disorganized flight. People are pushing, shoving. The air is filled with the frantic cries of mothers looking for their children, the shouts of officers trying to maintain order, the screams of terror. The elegant, quiet ship is gone. It has been replaced by a chaotic, terrifying mass of humanity. The polite veneer of Edwardian society has been stripped away, revealing the raw, primal fear underneath. You push your way through the crowd, an invisible ghost in a sea of panic. You make your way to the deck, the cold air hitting your face with the force of a blow. The sky is dark, and the moon is a cold, indifferent orb. The sea is still, unnaturally so, a vast black mirror that reflects the lights of the ship. The silence of the ocean is a stark contrast to the noise on the ship. The sound of the band playing is a haunting, beautiful thing. Nearer, my God, to thee, a song of faith and hope seems both a grotesque mockery and a profound act of defiance. The music is a quiet island in a sea of noise, a last beautiful gasp of a world that is dying. The band plays, a small, courageous group of men providing a final moment of grace in the face of absolute horror. You stand on the deck and you can feel the ship's list, a new and terrifying sensation. The deck is no longer flat, it is slanted. The ship is slowly, inexorably tilting into the cold black water. The world is turning on its side. The lights begin to flicker. First, a single light in a distant porthole, then a whole string of lights along the A-deck promenade. The ship is not just sinking, it is dying. Its heart, its engines, its power is being extinguished. The darkness is coming. You have no choice now. There is no hope of a lifeboat. You have only the cold ocean and the final dreadful moments as the lights flicker out. The music stops. The screams of the dying fill the air. The ship groans, a final, terrible sound of metal and wood and human hope being torn apart. And then it is quiet. A final, poignant reflection on a dream that became a nightmare. The Titanic, a symbol of human ingenuity and hubris, a ship that was supposed to be a triumph of technology, became a tomb. It was a beautiful, elegant, and quiet place right up until the end. We woke up in a world of luxury and opulence, a world of beautiful things and quiet moments. We thought we had all the time in the world. We were wrong. This story, the story of those last quiet hours, is a reminder that the most terrifying moments are not always the loudest. Sometimes they are the quiet ones, the moments before the disaster, the silent, unsettling moments that tell you something is wrong, even when the world around you is trying to tell you that everything is okay. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Until next time, stay curious and sleep well.